Just as Europe was preparing for the festive season, with city squares lighting up and families making plans for holiday gatherings, a sudden and severe cold snap has gripped the continent, catching millions off guard and transforming daily routines overnight. Cities that enjoyed mild autumn days just weeks ago are now facing a relentless deep freeze, with temperatures plunging far below seasonal norms and snow piling up in record amounts. This isn't a typical cold spell. It's a major atmospheric event that has scientists and meteorologists on high alert, as they scramble to understand the scale and potential impacts of this extreme weather. The culprit? A dramatic breakdown in the polar vortex, unleashing frigid Arctic air across Europe almost overnight and setting off a chain reaction of weather anomalies. Energy grids are strained to their limits, travel is disrupted as roads and railways freeze, and daily life is being reshaped by the urgent need to stay warm and safe. The early and aggressive start to winter is rewriting forecasts, with meteorologists warning of persistent severe cold that could last for weeks, if not longer. The big question on everyone's mind: how long will this deep freeze last, and what surprises does this extraordinary winter still have in store for Europe's residents? In this episode, we'll break down what's happening, why it matters for millions, and how this rare event could define the winter of 2025 for an entire continent. This is the story of a true Arctic winter, arriving with a roar across Europe and changing the season in ways few could have predicted. The polar vortex is a giant mass of frigid air swirling high above the North Pole, contained by powerful winds in the stratosphere. When strong, these winds keep the cold locked in the Arctic, sparing Europe and North America from extreme chills. But when the vortex weakens or wobbles, the fence breaks down, letting Arctic air escape southward. This is when we see sudden severe cold snaps and heavy snow in places unaccustomed to such extremes. The polar vortex is always present in winter, but only makes headlines when it collapses, displacing cold air into populated regions. Think of it as opening the door to the world's largest freezer. The cold rushes out, chilling the northern hemisphere. This year, that door has been flung wide open. Understanding the polar vortex is key to understanding Europe's current deep freeze. Let's see what triggered this dramatic breakdown. The force powerful enough to disrupt the polar vortex is called a sudden stratospheric warming, or SSW. This rare but dramatic phenomenon occurs high above the Earth's surface, in the stratosphere, and can have far-reaching consequences for weather patterns across the globe. In just a matter of days, temperatures in the stratosphere above the Arctic can spike by up to 50 degrees Celsius. An astonishing and rapid increase that destabilizes the normally stable polar vortex. This sudden warming is one of the most extreme temperature changes found anywhere in our atmosphere. But this warming isn't caused by sunlight. Instead, it's driven by powerful energy waves, known as Rossby waves, rising up from the lower atmosphere. These waves slam into the polar vortex, disrupting its flow and dramatically slowing its winds, sometimes even reversing them. The result? The vortex weakens, wobbles, or even splits apart entirely, losing its tight grip on the frigid Arctic air. When this happens, the cold air that's usually trapped over the pole can spill out and surge toward lower latitudes. That's exactly what happened in late November 2025. A dramatic SSW event triggered a full-scale vortex collapse, setting off a chain reaction that would soon be felt around the world. The effects cascade downward through the atmosphere, altering the path of the jet stream and opening the door for Arctic air to surge far to the south, bringing sudden and severe winter weather to regions unprepared for such extremes. As scientist Andrea Lopez Lang puts it, the stratosphere pulls invisible puppet strings that steer our weather, often in ways we can't see until the effects are already underway. A sudden warming high above leads to a deep freeze on the ground, just a week or two later. The connection between the stratosphere and our daily weather is both subtle and profound, shaping the winter in ways most people never realize. This chain reaction is now playing out across Europe, as cities brace for the impacts of a stratospheric event that began thousands of meters above their heads. With the polar vortex collapsed, Europe's usual shield against Arctic air is gone. A blocking high-pressure system over Greenland is now funneling frigid air straight into the continent. Temperatures in the UK, France, Germany, and even Spain and Italy are plunging 10–15 degrees Celsius below average. Cities that should be above freezing are stuck in the deep cold, with nights dropping into the negative double digits. As the Arctic air picks up moisture, heavy snow is blanketing major cities and snarling transportation. The Alps are seeing record early snowfall, but in the lowlands, the sudden freeze is causing chaos. Many were unprepared for such severe conditions so early in the season. This isn't a brief cold snap. The pattern is locked in, promising a prolonged, harsh winter for millions. Europe has been thrust into midwinter overnight. Scientists are calling this polar vortex collapse highly unusual, especially for November. Typically, such dramatic disruptions are seen much later in the winter season, making this event stand out in the meteorological record books. Researchers are poring over data, trying to understand what triggered such an early and intense breakdown of the polar vortex. Dr. Judah Cohen of MIT describes the event as extremely rare for this time of year, warning of a prolonged cold spell. He notes that the last time something similar happened, it led to weeks of severe weather across the northern hemisphere. Dr. Cohen emphasizes that this could be a sign of shifting climate patterns and urges communities to prepare for extended periods of cold. Dr. Amy Butler at NOAA explains that satellite data shows the vortex's winds weakening and reversing, allowing forecasters to predict cold outbreaks up to 2 weeks ahead. This advanced warning is crucial for governments and emergency services, giving them more time to respond to potential hazards. The technology now available provides unprecedented insight into the stratosphere's behavior. Dr. Andrea Lopez Lang likens the stratosphere's influence to invisible puppet strings that, when pulled, shift the jet stream and unleash Arctic air. She explains that these shifts can cause sudden temperature drops and unexpected snowstorms, catching even seasoned meteorologists off guard. Once disrupted, the vortex can take a month or more to recover, meaning the deep freeze could last well into January. This extended period of cold can have wide-ranging effects, from energy demand spikes to transportation disruptions and increased health risks for vulnerable populations. This isn't just another winter storm, it's a fundamental shift in atmospheric circulation. Scientists stress that these changes could become more frequent as the climate continues to evolve, making it even more important to study and understand these rare events. The rarity and strength of this event have scientists watching closely, as Europe sits in the path of its most severe impacts. Teams across the continent are collaborating, sharing real-time data and forecasts to track the storm's progression and potential consequences. Their consensus: this is a scientifically significant, disruptive, and potentially historic winter event. Many are calling it a wake-up call for both policymakers and the public, highlighting the need for better preparedness and resilience. The world's top experts agree. Europe is facing a winter unlike any in recent memory. The lessons learned from this event could shape how we respond to extreme weather in the future. The consequences are only beginning to unfold, and scientists will be watching every development as this extraordinary winter continues. Polar vortex collapses usually happen in mid to late winter, not November. In 70 years of records, only a handful of similar early season events have occurred, and none as powerful as this one. The timing is crucial. An early collapse means the cold pattern can persist for months, shaping the entire winter. Instead of a brief, late winter chill, Europe is facing a season defined by early, intense, and persistent cold. The infamous Beast from the East in 2018 was also caused by a vortex disruption, but it struck in late February. This year's event is happening 3 months earlier, giving winter a dramatic head start. The last comparable event in January 2024 was less severe and much later in the season. The November 2025 collapse stands out for its power and timing, promising a winter that could be remembered for decades. Europe is experiencing a true atmospheric anomaly. The science is fascinating, but the impacts are immediate and widespread. Heavy snow and ice are causing travel chaos. Roads are treacherous, airports are delayed, and commutes are disrupted. Energy demand is surging, straining grids and driving up prices for consumers and businesses. Utility companies are urging conservation to prevent blackouts. Schools are closing, health services are bracing for cold-related illnesses, and daily routines are upended. The festive mood is mixed with anxiety as the reality of a long, harsh winter sets in. Farmers worry about crops, businesses see fewer customers, and public services are stretched thin. The deep freeze is testing Europe's resilience, forcing millions to adapt quickly. This is more than just winter weather, it's a major societal challenge. The polar vortex collapse isn't acting alone. La Niña is amplifying its effects. La Niña, a cooling of Pacific Ocean waters, alters global weather patterns, including those over Europe. This year, La Niña is helping to lock in high-pressure blocks over the North Atlantic, steering Arctic air into Europe. The result: a tag-team event where the vortex collapse supplies the cold, and La Niña ensures it targets Europe. This combination makes the current deep freeze more severe and persistent than it might have been otherwise. Scientists are closely studying this rare synergy to improve future forecasts. Understanding how these global patterns interact is key to predicting entire seasons, not just weekly weather. The 2025 winter is a case study in how interconnected our climate truly is. Europe's deep freeze is a product of powerful forces working together. As November ends and December begins, Europe faces weeks of cold and snow. The atmospheric pattern is locked in, with no quick end in sight. Forecasters expect below-average temperatures and disruptive snow to dominate the holiday season and start of the new year. The polar vortex may take a month or more to recover, keeping the risk of further Arctic blasts high. Scientists are using this event to refine models and deepen understanding of stratosphere-troposphere links. But with aging satellites and uncertain funding, future monitoring could be at risk. For now, Europe must prepare for a long, cold winter, shaped by this historic event. The story of winter 2025 is still unfolding, with the next chapters written by the atmosphere itself. For millions, the message is clear. Brace for a winter that will be remembered for years to come. Even in our modern world, nature's power remains undeniable.